Hey everybody, Steve with the Interrupted Podcast. Here is another episode of the Interrupted Outdoors. It's cool to bring you this episode today. We are going to be talking with Brad Taylor and David Hooker, two of the board members of the Tangier Classic, a 3-day fishing tournament happening down in Crisfield, Maryland. It's its third annual. It's going to be happening September 24th through the 26th. Be sure to register. Check out the sponsors, check out the cause that is behind this. A little guy fighting for his life right now, and a portion of these proceeds are going to go help support him and his family. A lot of cool events happening each day during this tournament. I'm going to let Brad and Dave tell you all about it during our conversation. Before we get into that conversation, just a reminder, be sure to go over to interruptme.org, check out the landing page for everything about the podcast and the Interrupted Outdoors, and another place that you can just click to connect with me, going to either the Facebook page or over on Instagram. Lots of opportunities to engage and to hear many powerful conversations from incredible men and women all over this globe. I feel very privileged to bring these conversations to you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in to these shows. I know there is a lot of information for you to sort through, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be listening to the many podcasts you're subscribed, but I value the time that you are taking, and I trust that these conversations are helping you deal with all of life's interruptions and hopefully be an encouragement to you as you walk through difficult times and good times as well. So I thank you truly for tuning in and listening to these shows, and definitely reach out to the guests that come on the show. Go to the links in the show notes and click on their pages, social media, or their web pages. Go tell them about what you liked about the conversation. That goes a long way with the guests when they hear from you out there who are tuned in and subscribe to the Interrupted Podcast. And with that said, please subscribe to the show. If you feel so inclined, leave us a 5-star rating over on Apple Podcasts. That helps the show visibility and just shows other people what you're getting from this show. Those rating and reviews and subscriptions. I am going to be starting a push on for YouTube. I want to up those subscribers. I need your help. It just takes a few minutes. Log into your YouTube account, go over to the Interrupted Podcast channel and hit that subscribe button, and be sure to be getting the latest updates of all the shows that I'll be posting. And my goal is to have some new content other than the podcast coming out for you all, particularly in the Interrupted Outdoor space, as hunting and fishing season is once again really ramping up. So look forward to that. But enjoy this conversation today with Brad and Dave and hear all about the Tangier Classic. Gentlemen, welcome to the Interrupted Podcast, and the next episode, we're finally getting around to it, of the Interrupted Outdoors. Now that fall's coming, things are kicking up, and I'm glad, Brad, you reached out and able to put this show together, because, man, what a cool event in the Tangier Classic that's going to be coming up here in just a few short weeks, which you're probably feeling a lot more.
Yeah, it's getting busy, that's for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Well, Dave and Brad, thanks for taking the time to sit down. And we're actually in studio away from Zoom. So many people are always like, Steve, man, you gonna have any live shows? I was like, yeah, we'll get something rolling real soon. So, but cool. Before we get into it, would you guys just take a minute, introduce yourselves, kind of what's going on in your lives, and we'll get into it in a minute. But I'm curious to hear a little bit of your background in the outdoors, and we'll move right into hearing all about the Tangier Classic, if that sounds good. But
Yeah,
Brad, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Brad Taylor. Grown up here on the shore in Salisbury my entire life. Still live in Hebron. Hunting and fishing my whole life. Spend a lot of time on the Chesapeake Bay, right here in the south end of town, and hunting in the woods. And luckily, you'll be hunting with us this year.
I know, man.
So
I'm stoked about
Dave hunts with us.
Yep.
Known Dave for a long time.
Yep. I've known you since you were 13 years old.
that. Oh,
Somewhere
gosh,
there.
man, you guys go way back.
Yeah. Yep. I went to school with his cousin, and actually was a roommate of his other cousin for a while, and have been in that hunt club for, it's got to be getting close to 20 years.
We had this conversation like 3 times a year, right?
Yeah, 18 years, something like that. So we've been hunting and fishing and boating together forever. So yeah.
Right on, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool. Well, what did you kind of cut your teeth on, Brad? And you're here on the shore. Were you a waterfowl guy? Were you a whitetail guy? What really got your attention?
Fishing and hunting probably about the same time. Hunting I started when I was 5, so I was very young deer hunting. Waterfowl actually, I went a couple times with my cousin, but he was in school and whatnot, so Dave started taking me. So I did waterfowl Dave for, I don't know, 6 or 8 years, and we both have kind of drifted out of it a little bit since then. But still hold strong in the deer hunting and all kinds of fishing, offshore, inshore, near shore, all that stuff. And I do a little bit of upland hunting with my pointer, so kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw some pictures. You got out in the white marlin, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
So how'd you guys doing that?
Okay. It was very slow fishing for all but a few people.
Really?
We caught a tuna or two each day, I think, and had a couple whites mess around with us, but couldn't seem to get them to commit. So
man,
it was fun. It was my first time, so it was worth it just for the experience. And you go out of the inlet, and all those people are standing there waving and cheering everybody on. It's cool to see that. I've been on the parking lot side. I've never been in the boat, so it was kind of neat to experience it from that side of the spectrum, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, what about yourself, man? You and I, because of your business, unfortunately, had a little extra time to work with my spring and the madness that happened at my home. So we got to meet a little bit before the hunting industry, hunting world, I guess. But man, what about you? What's your background?
I was not born on the Eastern Shore, but my mother's family is from Dorchester County. I was born in North Carolina. Moved here when I was like 4 or 5 years old or something like that. Hunted and fished, like we were saying, pretty much my whole life. Early on, very, very hardcore waterfowler. Like I deer hunted during rifle season, and that was pretty much it. Like it was a break from duck hunting. You know what I mean? Just long enough to get the marsh mud out of your hands, and then it was right back at it. But it's ducking got tough, it got tough. I got older, work got busier, and when you're 18, 20, 22, maybe 25, doing that whole late season duck thing is much easier. But when you've got work and responsibilities at home and all that, it's tough to be gone all day like that for 1 or 2 ducks. And I never was really much of a sea duck hunter, and it seems like more and more folks are kind of going towards that. Just doesn't interest me. So got into bow hunting more and more all the time. As probably one of my favorite things to do around here now as far as hunting goes. I do really like upland, but we get to do that later in the year some. But rifle and muzzleloader I dabble in. I have a hard time sitting still, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's tough on me, and I a couple years ago got into going out west and elk hunting, and we got one year, did not get one last year. Don't know that we're going to make it out there this year, but that I really like that a lot. That's a lot of fun.
I mean, so different from being over here on the East Coast and sitting in a stand, and
very different.
I mean, I haven't gotten to take that plunge. I was myself hoping to be this year, but it looks like it's going to have to wait another year yet. But man, what a different world when you just grow up sitting in a stand waiting for the ambush opportunity.
For sure.
Definitely a little bit different.
Guess I kind of forgot how we met. It's kind of an exciting morning turkey hunting.
Oh man, that was so this look, it is an outdoor podcast. We're not going to disclose perfectly good hunting grounds, of course, to keep in trend, but I will say if you know enough people, start networking, communicate with other hunters, develop friendships. I just say that to encourage people to continue to pursue game ethically and just with a great attitude, because as you guys could probably attest to as well, there's a lot of just hoarding of land and really putting down of hunters, especially our generation. And there's a lot of that. I know, Dave, we've had that conversation before. And because of, good guys out there just enjoying the outdoors, Brad, you and I got a chance to go down to your club through Brandon. He took me down there turkey hunting, and man.
It's not something there's much of these days, properties that large. So it's pretty nice to to have access to something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really shines during turkey season. During deer season, I mean, but honestly, anymore, I mean, I remember early on there were a lot of people that hunted it all the way through rifle season. It's become more of a, I would say, bow hunters club at this
What's
point.
happening? All the
Older fellas,
the original guys have started retiring from hunting, and they're being replaced with the people our age or even younger.
Yeah.
And they're more bow hunting oriented. So there's more people there early and less people there late.
Yeah.
So.
And the turkey hunting is, I got back into it this year after taking like I don't know, 10, 12 year break off of it.
Was it really that long?
Yeah, I got to where it was like I could sit in the woods and deal with ticks and chiggers and mosquitoes, or I could go fishing, And but I got back into it this year, and we were that close. We had one coming in, and it was gonna walk like within 3 feet of my buddy, and I was gonna have to shoot past him.
Oh, man.
And I was trying to tell him to move, and I thought I had conveyed to move in a quiet, subtle way, and it was not at all. So it ended up being a very loud, large movement, and that blew him out. So, but we had a good time anyway.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's what it is. I definitely got busted a few times this year in a number of different close encounters, and you think they're farther or closer, and they're always closer than what you think. Always.
Yes. I learned that because I thought he was a couple hundred yards. When my buddy moved, that white head popped up at about 70 yards. I was like,
you think they're further until you don't.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a very small, fine line. It's like you think they're 100 yards away, and then all of a sudden you realize they're 30 yards away.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that morning that I was out, right after you shot your bird and we linked up, I mean, that happened. We're coming down that road, and you're like, man, they've got to be right over there. And we set up on this nice little Y, and I'm telling you, that was one of those instances where he was close, and he was definitely coming in, but to actually pinpoint exactly where it was, and then ultimately when he stuck his head out of that timber, I mean, he was still, you figure when he came out, he had to be 65, 70 yards across that way. And I feel like some of those gobbles in that open air were way less loud than when he was just probably 15 yards into that timber.
It's weird how it sounds sometimes.
But. Yeah. If you get in one of those logging roads, it's a little tighter, or you're in the woods in one of those lanes in the pines, I feel like it's very loud. You know what I mean? But if he's out in the cutover, it's like you're not even sure if you're hearing a gobble.
Yeah, well, it's that property too, and I would say unless you're in big ag down here on the Eastern Shore, you do have a lot of timber hunting, but you just don't have the terrain features like when you might watch a hunting show from most other places on the East Coast, or even a lot of places in the Midwest. It's like you're either in big open ag, or you at least have some rolling hills and funnels and pinch points and things. It's just like holly groves.
Yeah, we've talked about that many times.
Yeah, we go to Ohio.
Okay.
The deer hunt. We just started last year. We're going in this year, but this past spring we decided to go out and scout for deer / turkey hunt. And the guy it's a buddy of mine's friend, and he was like taking us around. We'd go somewhere and sit, and we'd go somewhere and sit. And as you know, Brandon and I don't sit with turkey hunting. We walk all day, the whole time.
Yeah, run and gun,
listen.
man.
So it's definitely different to see. Or odd to see how differently people hunt in different locations, but we don't have much of a choice at our property. If you sit there all day, you're gonna have some boring hunts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's more fun that way anyway, though.
Yeah,
running around chasing.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with Mike and you probably, but I'd rather bust a couple birds a year than sit there and wait for them. So.
Yeah, and I mean with the populations down here on the shore, I mean we're still thankfully in a really rich area of Maryland for turkey hunting. I know down south they're starting to see some numbers even decline down like South Carolina, Georgia. I know biologists and things are watching those numbers closely, but I mean we have a rich area. If you can get into an area with some birds, and if there's any type of management endeavor whatsoever, and you're careful, man, you can have more than just one exciting hunt.
Oh, for sure.
Which is pretty awesome here on the shore. So
it's the closest thing to elk hunting you're going to do over here.
Oh,
it's the same. It's the same exact game.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, except no mountains, which is nice.
Yeah. Hey, look, no mountains.
No
one
bears.
poisonous snake that you probably won't see.
Yep.
No bears.
No
Yeah,
bears.
absolutely. No, it was an awesome spring, and I'm thankful to be able to join you guys down there. I'm looking forward. I've never been a part of a club. It'd always been try and grab some private land from somebody, or it would be just to go out on public land. So I remember since being a kid, just thinking about, hey man, being with a group of guys that are out there pursuing game, and I know
I'd like to think we do things a little differently than most clubs.
Yeah,
we have pretty good camaraderie, and I mean, there's some guys that they'll just drive on through, but there's a group of 5 or 10 of us that'll always stop and talk and hang out for sometimes hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when it comes down to it, that's the stuff that's going to last, and and at the core of why we do stuff, those conversations, those memories. I mean, a good day in the woods is awesome, and it's fulfilling, and it's a good recalibration and reset of perspective. But there's nothing like sitting around or just meeting up after sitting in the stand for a while, and just everybody kind of telling what they saw, heard, thought, didn't see but lied about. And
there's not many deer that move around that club without somebody texting somebody about it anyway. You know what I mean? Especially like Brandon. I think I was joking him with the other day. He's already got him on camera, and got him named, and got him social security cards.
That's right. He's on it. He's on it this year for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. It's very funny. I don't really do much with the cameras. I don't really name them. I named one. Puddles.
I was so you set that up to go a different direction than Puddles.
No, Puddles. It was I think the only stag Sika we've had on camera, right? So far,
it had been. We had one, another one this year. Actually, we had 2 this year on a different side of the property too. Yeah. So they're kind of starting to show up a little bit.
Yeah, this has been like 4 or 5 years ago, though, right?
Yeah, he was definitely the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had 1 or 2 show up. We get them once, then they're gone forever. But it's kind of neat to see them out there, anyways.
Yeah, so. I mean, from talking to guys, I mean, do you think that they will continue to push down this way, or I mean, what do you guys have been on the shore longer than I have? You've kind of seen the change in Sika hunting, and now it's become so much more popular, just with the more bigger names coming down here to shoot them.
Yeah, I think they got to keep their feet wet to keep them around.
Yeah, I don't think that we'll ever be like 50-50 on the property, but I think within 10 years you'll be able to shoot one on the property. Like right now, we have them midnight, and that's it. But I think eventually there might be a couple living there. I mean, we're not that far from the areas they do live, so.
Yeah, they do like swampy, low-lying, wet areas, and our club can get that way. They can get that way, so.
Yeah, no, that I walked through the track. I guess it's been probably 3 weeks over in my area, and they're definitely where some of those like cuts and drainage ditches and tax ditches are. That I was surprised how deep some of those things are. Oh, yeah. I guess that is to help manage some of that swampiness.
If they worked.
Yeah, they cut them when they clear cut it, then they cut the ditches, and then whatever happens after that.
I haven't seen them cut a ditch since I've been there. Yeah. I'm sure that's how they got there originally, but they don't seem to care about them anymore.
Yeah,
which is odd because it's taken them. They've been planning on cutting for 3 years, and they just did get in there this past year. So
they'll replace the pipes though.
Oh yeah, they'll do the culverts. Yeah, but I mean they haven't seen them cut a new ditch or recut a ditch, and well, I've never seen it for that matter. So
yeah, no, I mean, and being kind of at the mercy of, when you got loggers and things, they need to do their thing too, and I mean for the amount of little bit of different terrain you guys have with some of the cutovers, and I mean the lanes that am I correct? You go in and mow some of those and keep some of them down, or somebody does?
Well, we do the roads, and then like I do my personal areas, and a couple friends and stuff. But
keep stuff knocked down, and I mean, hey. But you hope there's enough guys out there spotting these things and moving them around, and it should be exciting. No, it'll be a good season. Looking forward to it. Well, what before we get into talking about the Tangier Classic, what's your guys? What do you like to chase on the water? What do you like to target? Or you from what I know, you're a pretty big fisherman, Brad. I mean, whitetail is pretty big, but man,
Yeah, it depends on what time of year. If you ask me if I'm a hunter or fisherman, it'll change based on the time of the year.
That's good. That's all right.
I would say fishing probably has an edge because now we're doing a little more fishing in the winter time and stuff like that. But again, what time of the year you ask me? If you ask me in the early spring, I'm going to tell you speckled trout probably. But if you ask me now, it's tuna.
Okay.
Offshore probably is my favorite thing. It's a lot of work, so I get you get a little burned out after so many trips, but it's probably my passion. But definitely the shallow water, the puppy drum, the speckled trout, and the rockfish, and we used to do the trolling thing out in the deep water in the bay, and definitely got over that. It's not really my thing anymore, that's for sure. Used to troll the banks, don't really do that. It's all pretty much light tackle casting. I don't use a whole lot of bait. It's definitely not in the bay, but mostly casting and top water and stuff like that.
Okay.
Jigging a little bit in the wintertime.
Very good. And Dave, you were saying that the drum are going to really start to pick up here. Is that?
I think we're there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I think we're there.
We've arrived.
Yeah, it seems to in the last week or so.
Yeah,
sure.
we found them pretty good. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I mean, I guess if I had to say one end or the other, I guess I'm a fisherman before I'm a hunter at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But a generalist as much as you can be, So I mean, my goal is to have something. And I've talked to friends of mine about this before, but something you can chase every month. You know what I mean? I'd rather be that guy. Like there are definitely people out there who are speckled trout specialists or fill in the blank specialists.
Yeah.
Which leaves you with a whole lot of open schedule, in certain parts of the year. But to be able to say, hey, in this month I can go here and catch this species is kind of more what I like to do. So yeah, shallow water is great. And our tournament is kind of, I would say, shallow water centric.
I mean, I would say 90% of the guys are fishing 10 feet or less for the majority of the tournament.
Good deal.
Yep.
What for those that maybe haven't done a lot of drum fishing and maybe not give out your closely guarded secrets, but people like myself. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I was a freshwater fisherman, man, just in the trout streams, bass fishing and stuff. So when I moved down here over 10 years ago, it was a whole different world, learning the saltwater, brackish water game, the different just types of game fish. What do you need to be successful here in the fall to fish around the bays here in Maryland? And in Virginia.
I mean, honestly, in the fall, when the pups are around, the slot redfish, the smaller ones, there's a lot of folks that are catching them doing the same stuff that you're doing to catch specks, especially come September, early October. They'll be in the shallows along the banks and, the cut banks and points with the other fish. In the spring, you're going to find the pups in shallower water, and those big bulls are going to be, I don't think I'm giving away any secrets, but there's only one way in the bay, and that's where they come in.
Yeah.
So, figure that out from there. But this time of year, if you can find breaking fish or birds in deeper water, you'll probably find them. We use our side scan sonar a lot to find them, and that's how we found them about a week or so ago. I know we talked about trolling, and it's not something we really do anymore, but a lot of folks will just drive around looking for these fish. I figure if you're going to be driving around, you might as well have a bait in the water. So we'll do some Spanish mackerel trolling or something like that.
Oh, well, that's totally different from what I'm talking about. The umbrellas and
Yeah. So
big long where you're dedicated. You're all in.
Yeah.
Deep water.
What kind of tackle though as we move into talking about the tournament, for someone to go out and target drum right now, even the smaller ones and stuff, is it all light tackle? Is it just swim baits? Get a little practical for somebody that's maybe just trying to pique interest here.
Probably got a couple sponsors we could shout out here.
Yeah.
For the bigger drum, they would use something like a BKD, I think, which is a sponsor of ours, Bass Candy Delights.
Okay.
The shallower stuff, Old School Tackle. He does a lot of like swim shads. He does some eels too. That would be good for the big reds. Jig heads.
Okay.
That's pretty much everything you're going to use a jig head, unless it's a lure of some sort, which would be top water plug or something like that.
A JLS rod.
JLS
Would
rod.
be a good choice.
Yep. JLS rod. Like,
all right,
nice
all right.
light tackle rod.
I like it. But yeah, so again, where I'm going with this is trying to get the person that may not know a lot about this kind of stuff, but it's like, hey man, I'd love to go support this cause that we're about to talk about here. And I got a catfish rod, and I normally throw some bait on the end of it,
Right.
But any basic casting rod with 20 30 pound
for the pups. I mean, for the pups, you'd be fine with a standard casting setup, and like I said, they're going to frequent a lot of the same areas. They will congregate around harder structure, so oyster bottoms, rocks, wrecks, things like that, channel edges, underwater points, shoals, things like that. The big fish, those big reds, are not picky eaters. They really are not. So if you have cut bait like cut bunker or peanut bunker or hard crab, anything like that, if you're where they're at and they feel like eating, they're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna eat it. So, but yeah, like he said, Old School Tackle has a lot of great offerings for the puppy drum. I use what's called an OG eel, which is about an 8 or 9 inch long soft plastic lure. And we use those for big rockfish too in the wintertime, and cobia. So any large fish, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Good go-to.
Yeah. 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce, and make sure it's a strong hook because they're heavy. Strong
What size
fish.
hooks are you running for a lot of those?
Gosh, was it an 8/0? Does that sound right?
Yeah, well, 8/0 extra strong. I think
Right.
is what they're using.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried the VMCs. Are I think VMC 8/0 long shank is what I use, either 3/4 ounce or 1 ounce, and that's J.R. Witzel with Jigged Up Unlimited who makes those.
Okay.
Another sponsor.
And,
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to definitely be highlighting them and talking about them more. But let's get into it. Where did this idea, where did the concept for the Tangier Classic come from? Its origins.
Yeah.
How far back do you want to go?
Oh man! All right. I hope everybody's ready for a 3-hour Joe Rogan Experience esque show.
We were involved in another tournament, and it kind of went by the wayside.
Okay.
And the area was so nice, and the venue was so nice, and it just kind of happened that we got talking, and we're like, I think we could do this on our own. So we got talking between the 2 or 3 of us that had been involved prior. We invited a couple other people over. We talked it out and ended up sitting there and writing a format and rules and kind of just went with it.
Wow.
I wish there was like a better story.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what it really comes down to is that, like you said, we were involved in a different tournament that isn't really around this area anymore, but we felt like we could do it better and keep it a little more local.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of where it came from.
What we liked is we wanted to do something that did something for the community and stayed here rather than we do all the work and then we don't know where it went. So we saw an opportunity, not to mention the Crisfield area hasn't had a tournament
since the Scorchy Toss tournament,
20 years or so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we saw an opportunity there. We're local. We were able to drum up a lot of interest. We all know a lot of people in the fishing community. And I think we just had been involved with enough tournaments to kind of know where to start.
Okay.
And to draft up something a little bit different. Started out, the biggest thing that's different is a 3-day tournament.
Okay.
We were the only ones in the shallow water world that had a 3-day event that you picked 2 out of 3. Some other tournaments are multi-day and you fish each day, but ours is a little different in that it works with the weather. You can kind of pick and choose which days you want to fish. So
okay,
kind of went from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing is we don't have a weigh-in that you have to be involved in.
Okay.
Right. So there are a lot of tournaments out there, excuse me, that require you to kill the fish. Mm-hmm. Then there are other tournaments out there that I would say very strongly urge you to not kill the fish. Where we were kind of trying to be in the middle there. Mm-hmm. You definitely do not have to kill any fish in this tournament to win money or win a division or whatever. So that was a big thing for us, and that's through an app, and we do it by length and not weight and all that. So, and I feel like that's a that's a very important distinction, because there are certain fish like the rockfish who may or may not be having more restrictions put on them. And honestly, there are a lot of rockfish specific tournaments out there that are kill tournaments, and I don't really know what their plan is if things continue to get worse with this fish.
Right.
And the other thing is, we don't want to have a major noticeable negative impact in the local area that we're holding the tournament. So if you have 300 people, 350 people, 400 people come fish it, and it's a kill tournament, there's fish being taken out that aren't going back.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm assuming that can really drive whether, like, participation too. People that do a lot of tournaments, these are all factors that weigh into whether they participate or not.
Yeah, because all these tournaments are permitted by the state of Maryland. So at the end of the day, every year you have to get that permit. So if things continue to get more restrictive with certain fish, that permit may or may not come if you're going to continue to be
Which is another difference with us. A lot of these tournaments, it's a Cobia tournament, or it's a red drum tournament, or it's maybe rockfish, speckled trout, and some perch or whatever. We have 13 different species on our list.
Wow.
And because of where we are a catch photo, not necessarily a catch photo release, but a catch photo tournament, we can include some of these species that are either closed that time of year or closed in general. Bull red drum, you can't ever keep those, but you can submit those in our tournament because you don't have to keep them.
Cobia, same this year. Cobia will be closed.
Oh yeah, Cobia closes the 15th, so same thing with Cobia. I think there's maybe even a couple others. I noticed that there were some that were closed, but it opens up opportunities. So that way, if the rockfish, for whatever reason, say they don't issue permits for tournaments in the future,
Virginia rockfish won't be open. It will be open at that point. Virginia rockfish.
No, it won't.
It won't be?
It's not
we know the rules.
What? Yeah, no, but hey,
that was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows any of the licensure in the outdoor community, I mean, things change. What seems like overnight many times when you're talking fish, waterfowl, big game, anything, it all has to do with what the biologists are saying, is going to be best for that species, and that's part of the management. Like it or not, everybody has a weighs in on those type of issues when it comes to this stuff. But at the end of the day, look, we want these game fish and also animals to be around, and in many cases these biologists are doing the what they believe is going to be best for the species, and it does hurt somebody's feelings every once in a while.
We offer for people to bring fish up to us to measure ourselves.
Okay.
We have maybe
a few.
3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
Meaning 3 or 4 teams, maybe a dozen or so fish, 2 dozen maybe, very few. Which I would consider a major success as far as that goes. Now I don't know, maybe these other people are keeping their fish still, but it has to at least cut down on it. I know I don't think I've kept one since the tournament started in the tournament.
Right.
So I'm sure that there's others that are feeling the same way, and they're letting fish go. It's good for conservation, but that being said, we don't care. If you want to keep your fish and eat it for dinner, it's completely fine with us.
Yeah, nobody's going to look down on you, for that.
So how does that work with the rules? So you go out. What are the dates for the tournament?
24th through the 26th of September.
Last weekend in September.
Yep.
All right, coming up. And so when someone goes out, they sign up. They're out there fishing, and so they can do this by photo if they wish.
Yeah, so Lindsay Mason on our committee actually from scratch developed an app this year, and it's all inclusive. It's got the rules, it's got the tournament schedule. You can go on there and look at the Maryland and Virginia regulations.
Mm-hmm.
You take a picture. It declares you can declare your lay day there. It tells you what the photo indicator, which has to be in your photo for us to know what day it was caught. All of it's right there on the app.
Okay.
You register. She sends you the information that gives you access to the app, and then you log in and you're ready to roll as soon as the tournament starts, and it's all right there.
Right on. So by species, then does it vary whether it's by weight or length, depending on species? How does that all work?
Length.
It's all length. It's all based off the Maryland regulations. Even though our tournament is the Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries, there is no boundaries other than the mouth of the bay, basically. We go by Maryland regulations because the tournament's hosted out of Maryland. We want to make sure everybody, if they're coming up to weigh a fish in Maryland, that or not weigh, but measure a fish in Maryland, that they've followed the Maryland regulations.
Let's be legal, people.
Yeah, I mean, because where the tournament is held, you can be fishing in Virginia waters in 15 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it goes without saying, anytime you're going to set foot in the outdoors to do things, make sure you look up the latest regulations.
Yeah, and they're pretty similar, but there are some differences between Maryland and Virginia. So you could get yourself in a little bit of a bind there, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, so at the end of September, most guys really going to be targeting out there? What's really running at that point? And traditionally, obviously, weather, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. But what do you see a lot of from this tournament?
I would say mostly rockfish would probably be the number one.
Okay.
A lot of speckled trout last year.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of varies by year depending on the winter before.
I think it's going to be another good year.
It's going to be a good year for speckled trout. There's some bluefish around. Fair amount of red drum last year.
Yeah.
Both puppy and bulls.
Okay.
Those are probably the main four, I would say. A lot of perch last year. We ended up adding a perch category.
Did we say bluefish?
I did.
Bluefish,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, but there are some oddballs too, like sheep's head, pompano, which is historically a very southern species. So I honestly have not. I've seen them. Like they tend to jump if you drive by them too close in a boat.
Oh, okay.
I've seen them jump, but I've never actually caught one, a pompano. But we had a really nice sheep's head that Barry Beecham caught 2 years ago.
He was like 10 pounds or something.
Wow,
big sheep's head. Yeah,
I'm guessing we didn't weigh it, but
yeah,
it looked to be about 10 pounds, which is good size for the bay.
Yep. Tog, we've had a tog caught.
Okay.
A black drum. I caught a 30-inch black drum. Unfortunately, it wasn't a eligible species, but it was a nice fish.
We have added black drum this year.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So, cobia, I think we're finding that if we get the right year, they'll be around.
Okay.
But we are kind of at the tail end.
So we ended up we had a longest cobia, Calcutta, and we've done away with that Calcutta, but they're still included in another Calcutta that we call the heavyweights, which is black drum, red drum, cobia, and rockfish over 28 inches.
Okay.
So they're still in the tournament. They can still be the longest fish overall. They can still be the longest fish daily. But we did do away with their specific Calcutta only because I don't think we've had a legal cobia yet.
No.
That being said, we haven't had the best weather for
Right.
the 2 years as far as cobia fishing goes. So
cobia is very. I mean, obviously you've had some experience with it here this year, but most guys are going to be sight casting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's cloudy, windy, rainy, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, conditions need to be pretty spot on to be doing it that way.
Yeah.
Last year we had rain. The year before we had wind. So hopefully this year, and we'll probably be kicking ourselves. It'll be nice, and we'll have cobia all over the place.
It's going to happen one year. I know it's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of species out there to catch. So and I don't feel like they're overly crowded. I mean, you got the entire bay to fish, so plenty of opportunities out there.
If you go out of the harbor and you fish right there close to the harbor, you'll see a few boats. But if you get out and get in the islands or get a little south, it feels like a normal day on the weekend fishing. I mean, I think that's the nice part about having the whole bay as an opportunity. Like Dave said, it spreads everybody out. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, who came up with the name? Why Tangier Classic?
I think that was me, wasn't it? Did I come up with it?
We had a couple names we bounced around, and then I think we ended up like combining two. You may have been the one that I don't remember. You might have recommended it. But yeah, we had
sounds cool.
It does. Well, for those that aren't right here on the shore, Tangier, that's the primary area, I guess, that the boats are going to be starting in anyway.
Yeah, so Tangier is an island in Virginia, and then the Tangier Sound is kind of it can be confusing for people. They think that the tournament's in Tangier. I think now they're getting the hang of it, but it was a play on the Tangier Sound more than the island. Which if you leave the island, Crisfield, leave out the Nanticoke River, any of those, it dumps you into the Tangier Sound. So,
Right on. Well, what's really cool, before we end, for everybody listening, we're going to get into some of the logistics and how to get through the website, some of the registration and all of that. But something that's really cool that I think initially just really captivated my attention is the why behind this, or the real reason for it. Obviously, we love the outdoors, but this is a really unique tournament in that the proceeds, and I'll let you guys talk more about that, what the cause is that this really supports.
Yeah, that was the driving force behind us, and why the tournament is the way that it is. Well, one, we wanted to kind of give like a last little boost to tourism to Crisfield. It's a beautiful area, some of the best fishing around.
Yeah.
And the town's not what it once was, and they really benefit from having people from out of state come in and use the campgrounds and the motels and eat at the restaurants and shop at the stores and whatever. What we're eventually trying to do is get it to where people come for the weekend and bring their families. The husbands and the kids might go fishing, the wives go spend some money in the little downtown shops and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main cause would be, every year we choose a child that them and their family could use financial help, whether it be medical issues, which is what it's been the first 2 years and this year, or it could be something else that we haven't run into yet. But it just seems, as of now, it seems to be medical issues usually.
Yeah. A family in need.
Yep.
Yeah.
So our first year was Lane Dotson. He had leukemia and I forget which type, but diabetes.
Yeah.
And it so happened we kind of came across him, and then we ended up hearing that he was looking for a service dog, for a diabetic service dog. And so we ended up raising enough money for them to get his dog, which they've become incredibly tight companions. Last year we had Franklin Kerwin. He has neurofibromatosis.
I don't know how you remember that. Yeah, I always draw a blank on that one.
Yeah, and it's like gross on his optic nerves, and it's causing him to kind of go blind and things like that. So we ended up raising him a good chunk. I think first year was 20,000 and change, and then last year it was almost 32,000. So the first year we had, I think, somewhere in the 35 sponsor range. Then last year was like 75, and this year we're sitting at like 110, 112.
Yeah, so, and that's with how many anglers in year one?
Year one was
like 230?
I think 219, and then year two was like 272 or 279. So the anglers grew a little bit, but the sponsors
during COVID,
right, yep.
Yeah, that's good. How can we forget about that?
Yeah, right.
The community is really what came behind us last year, and then we grew another 30 some sponsors this year. So it's kind of cool to see everybody come behind us. Now we've got the Chamber of Commerce and the City Council and stuff are contacting us.
Wow.
We're trying to make it a community event, not just about fishing, but the whole community can come down. We're having a cornhole tournament on Friday night with live music. Saturday we have our party with auctions and raffles. We're gonna have live music on Saturday. Sunday's a little more low key. It's just a reward ceremony, but honestly, we had a pretty good turnout just for that last year. So
yeah, and Saturday, I mean, you're not gonna leave there hungry Saturday. So we have a pretty big feed we put on Saturday night.
Right on. So people that don't want to participate in the fishing at all, man, this is something they can just come. Do you buy a ticket just to that part of the event?
It's $15 for a ticket, and you can just pay at the door. I think we also have it on the website. You can go and pre-order it, and you just basically give your name at the door, and they'll give you a wristband. But it could be a lot of people that fish will end up bringing their families down on Saturday night, or people at the Legion that are just hanging out. It's at the Crisfield American Legion, by the way, but people that are just hanging out there will end up coming out and participating in the auction and the raffle, and we're trying to grow that part of it. We want to get it to the point where people just from Crisfield or anywhere for that matter just say, hey, that sounds like a fun weekend. Let's go down there, whether it's for the Friday night for the cornhole or for Saturday night to buy some stuff at the auction. We have a lot of really interesting auction items, especially this year. So it really could be anybody. A lot of people from my neighborhood came down last year just to hang out, and they weren't fishing. So.
Right on. And is it just a shotgun start, or is it how do you get going? What time does the boats pull out?
I don't think we really have a time that they can leave, but it's start fishing at was it 6 a.m. I think.
Yeah, lines in
Okay.
at 6 and power boats. So we have kayaks and power boats, and they do not compete against each other in the general entry. They do
Okay.
compete against each other in the Calcuttas.
Okay.
So the kayaks are allowed to launch from any ramp in the Chesapeake Bay, right?
Yep. Kayaks can launch from anywhere.
Power boats can only launch from Accomack, Somerset, Wicomico, or Worcester County.
And there's only one ramp in Worcester, which is Cedar Hall in the Pocomoke. So
Okay.
Yeah. So, the kayaks can go wherever they want, whenever they want. It's just all lines enter at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So,
we also have a kids division, which they're obviously going to be with someone, but
Heck yeah.
that would just be another division that we have that we would like to see get bigger. I think we grew it a little bit last year, but we'd like to see that become a big thing and get the kids really involved. So
and the kayak thing is, at first you would think, oh, I'm in a kayak, I'm not going to be terribly competitive, but where we fish is pretty protected water.
Mm-hmm.
The fish are not scared to swim shallow, and the guy that won it last year was in a kayak.
Wow.
yeah,
And the
some
guy-
of our biggest winners both years in the Calcutta sense of things has been kayak fishermen. So.
Biggest rockfish in the history of the tournament was a kayak.
Wow.
Yeah, biggest
That's
trout
pretty-
I think was a kayak, right? Wasn't that last year's?
It is last year before it all kinds of runs together, but
Yeah.
there's been some big fish in kayaks. So
Yeah. What was the main purse in the first year and last year?
like
actually brought more money than the general entry, right?
yeah, so general entry, we take 50% of every person that enters, and that goes to the donation. And then the Calcuttas are we have one Calcutta, which is the Tangier Slam. We take 30% of that. Everything else is 100% payout.
Okay.
So yeah, the Calcuttas really rack up. The Slam last year was like $3,200 or $3,500. I think
Awesome.
the first year we paid out a total like $16,000, and last year we were $22,000 or $23,000.
Yeah.
And I know after 28 anglers this year, we were ahead of schedule compared to last year as far as payouts go. So I think it's going to be another big year for payouts.
Yeah.
But,
The general, I think the guy Aaron that won, wasn't it? Was it like $3,000 for the general? For the win of the tournament itself?
yeah, I'm not as involved with that aspect of it. I'm usually cooking and
Yeah.
all that, but I know it was up there pretty good. So,
Yeah. And we should point out that we are a nonprofit 501, so we are not taking any of this money home. And we, donate to the child that we choose every year,
Mm-hmm.
but we also donate to local fire department. We donate money to the Legion. We donate money to the FOP. We donate money to. There was somebody else that needed something. I can't remember last year, and we gave them money for it.
Another family that just needed a little bit of a boost at the moment, and we helped them out. So
Yep.
No, I think that's what's cool with all the Calcuttas and general registration, that you're able to give a large portion to really help these families out. But also, there's something for the anglers to walk away with, a little incentive, right?
Mhm.
To go out there and fish your best, do what you can. But tell us about Owen this year.
Yeah. So Owen Gillette, he was born about 9 months ago. He's got a few different congenital heart defects.
I'm gonna pull up the Facebook here while you're talking about him.
You might need it for notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got some congenital heart defects, as well as I think it's called heterotaxy, which is his organs are in the wrong places.
Okay.
And then some other things that I'm not even sure have names. Like he's got blood vessels that are going in the wrong places, and a few different things that luckily they've been able to address. I think his stomach was flipped around or something like that. That was one of his first surgeries right off the bat. He had his first open heart surgery within 5 days, I think it was, and he had his second one probably about a month and a half ago. Unfortunately, out of 9.5 months, he's been in the hospital for over 7 of those. Up in Hopkins. It seems like every time they come home, they've got to get back up there. So,
and that's Scott and Caroline.
Yep, Scott and Caroline.
Wow,
And then
man.
that's Owen,
What a
so.
precious little boy.
Yep, cute kid.
So how's he been doing? I know you guys are really good about getting the updates up there.
Yeah, I think I missed
on the
one.
Facebook page.
He is home. He came home about a week ago, I think. I didn't see the update until it was already a couple days old, so
Okay.
I felt like I probably ought to hold that one. But
Yeah, no, that's fine.
but yeah, he is home. As far as I know, he's doing pretty well at the moment. I know he's got to get a pacemaker. I believe they go to see the doctor next week or something to find
Okay.
out when that'll be, and it might be, unfortunately, right before the tournament. I know they're hoping to be able to at least get Scott and the other son Mason down there, but we're hoping that it either gets done in time or he's well enough that he's able to make it down and see everybody.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean, the just reading the post, it's hard to read this stuff, man. This family's going through it right now, and
and it's more than just it's not just Owen that's going through it. Unfortunately, Mason, he's being put through the ringer because of it. The parents are
there's Mason.
here, there, and everywhere.
Yep.
And poor Caroline, I think she's about ready to pull her hair out, and Scott's trying to work and take care of everybody. So it's the whole family. She's not been able to work, and honestly, I'm not sure that they know when she'll be able to work again because it's a full-time job. He's on like 12 or 13 different medications that he's got to take very precise times throughout the day. So to count on somebody else to do that's not really an option.
Yeah.
So she's given up her job, and they're kind of relying on Scott, and it's hard because Mason's supposed to be in school, but it's kind of risky to send him to school. So then he's missing out on some of the stuff that he should be enjoying as a kid. So it's hard on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were traveling across the bridge and doing. Obviously, you can see from the photo, all this was occurring. The arrival of Owen and everything after occurring during COVID in a hospital. So
Mason did not meet him until he was over 5 months old.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that I think Caroline and Scott were.
It's only one of them could go up at a time, right?
Yeah, they were in the same room with him, I think, for like the first day or two.
Yeah.
And then after that, they had to trade spots. So,
Okay.
and they were able to stay in a something similar to the Ronald McDonald House. I'm not sure what exactly it's called, but ended up being that when Scott came back to went back to work, that he wasn't allowed to come back if he went to work. So then they couldn't even stay there together. So it's been tough.
Just with all the restriction and all the pandemic stuff going on.
Which I get it. They didn't want people in and out, but it's been hard on them for sure.
Yeah, that's a huge tax just on the family in general. And then you just have your general just trying to grow up being a kid and everything that comes with that to try and manage. Man, I give them all the credit in the world. I mean, that takes a lot of courage to tackle that head on, but it's really cool. So how do you stay in touch with them and they kind of just shoot you over updates for it? And
Caroline's pretty good about it.
Yeah, she posts a lot on was it just Owen Strong on the website?
Yeah, I believe
page?
so.
I think it's a Facebook page is just called Owen Strong.
Owen Strong.
And she updates every couple days or so. Puts a lot of pictures up and stuff like that. So it's easy to kind of
let me see if I can
keep
pull
caught
that up for everybody. Yeah.
I think it's you might have to join it. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Is it a Facebook group or page?
Yeah, it's Facebook.
Oh, okay. It's through Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we can pull that up just to show everybody. You said Owen Strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably gonna. There you go.
This one. We'll see here.
No, I think it's gonna be the old hashtag.
There it is.
It's right there.
We have it right here. All right. Let's put that up.
Yeah, it's private.
I'm gonna put it on there right there. See that?
There you go.
I like it. There you go.
So we'll see if maybe we can get in there here before too long. But man, that's really cool that all these proceeds. So I mean, the moral of the story there is, I mean, get on board with this thing.
For sure.
I mean that's what they're going.
The fishing's fun. It's one of the most beautiful areas around, and it's all for an outstanding cause. Not to mention, we donate to a lot of the local foundations, and we plan on doing more of that this year. So there's really no reason not to get behind it. So
and the vast majority of our sponsors are local, as in the state, but a lot of our sponsors are super local to Salisbury, like the tri-county area.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
I'd say 75% or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, you guys are great about posting, getting when all these different organizations are coming on board, and I think there's obviously that these organizations love to help the local area, but it's also as a collective really cool to see that
Mhm. Yep.
that a community like Crisfield, so rich in the outdoors, and all the watermen that are down there, and to see the greater Tri-County area really pull together for something like this is pretty spectacular. I mean, you guys have got to see it from the ground up, which is, way more than even my perspective looking at it now. But I can't believe the summer, how it has already grown.
It doesn't feel real sometimes. Yeah, it honestly takes until after the tournament to like sit back and be like,
Yeah.
we did that.
It is
and
hard.
And it's really not us, it's the calls. We don't, I
Yeah.
mean, we can take all the credit we want, but without the calls, none of this would be happening to the level that it is. I mean, it really is the driving force behind it. So
It really is hard to believe that we went from various text messages to conversations about we can do this. This is not that hard to do.
yeah, I think you and I and Justin text back and forth for 2 or 3 years about it, and then we just what, it's time. Let's
Dive
do it.
in.
Yeah. To now where it is now, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, the logistics alone to get the nonprofit status, to get logos, to get a board, to get people that have the same goal in mind on that global perspective it's just difficult to bring a team together like that. Now, who's all?
I think if
on your
everybody
board?
listed everything, if they listed it before we made a decision, I'm not sure we would have done it.
Yeah,
It's blissfully
just gotta
ignorant.
run into
yeah,
it.
In
yeah.
all honesty, we never necessarily planned to be a nonprofit.
No.
After that first tournament, we knew what we needed to do, but it wasn't. When we decided to do this, we're like, oh yeah, and then on year 3, we want to become a nonprofit. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it's come out of not necessarily necessity, but we saw the best thing that we needed to do, and
Yeah.
decided to do it. But to answer your question, it would be Dave and myself, Adam Corey, Justin and Chetta, Steve Mason, Lindsay Mason, my wife Ashley,
Mhm.
Dave's wife Lindsay.
Leslie.
I mean, sorry, Leslie.
We'll edit that out.
and Steve's wife Lindsay.
There you
There
go.
you go.
So
Yeah.
Right on. No,
Yeah.
an awesome group that's really on board now. Is there still room for sponsorship?
there is. The only thing is everything, because of COVID, everybody's requesting we get everything in very early.
Okay.
So like everything printing wise, banners, shirts, and handbooks, which we're calling now programs, because it's become more than just rules at this point.
Yeah.
All that's had to have been submitted at this point. So we can't get logos on that, but we can still do the Facebook posts. We can still do any kind of shout outs, videos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, all the print stuff has wrapped up. But we'll take sponsors up till the day before.
Good
Yeah.
deal. How if sponsors, if somebody's listening to this, is just like, hey, I want to be involved on a sponsorship level, and even if I can't be in this, is the website here the best place to do all that?
The website or Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Websites, you can that'll give you the information of
Become a sponsor.
yeah,
there.
become a
There you
sponsor,
go, right
and then
there.
Yeah.
you can scroll down there, and you can click on I think it says download. Yep.
the PDF right there.
And
Okay.
that's the actual sponsor packet. It has all of Owen's story in it, all of our different levels, what comes with our different levels, and keep in mind some of that won't apply.
Right.
But a lot of it still can. And they can go there, and then to contact us, they'll just want to email us at tangierclassic@gmail.com.
Okay. Very good.
Or they can call us, and my number's probably on there somewhere. But
Right there.
or you can do that
right
Yep.
here if you
There you
go
go.
on,
Yep.
on the page. I just direct people obviously to this landing page. It sounds, I mean, it's a beautiful website. I'm not sure who set it up for you.
Lindsay also did that.
So kudos
It's
to
definitely
her.
not me.
I mean, it's huge because everybody always has that information out there, but this landing page is going to get you really everything you need to know.
Rules, Maryland and Virginia regulations. You can donate from here. This is how you register for the tournament. You can meet our title sponsor on there.
Yes,
Photos from previous tournaments.
Yep.
So here I'll go.
You can see all the sponsors from previous years and this year.
Wow. So right there for all the sponsors. I mean, please go and check out this website. There's so much information. And if you're like me, and obviously sponsorship is so huge. A lot of times when you look at a program or you see all these companies coming together, a lot of times it's quick to just move past them. But I will tell you right now that the companies that, whether it's this tournament or other good causes around here, if these companies are choosing, to be involved in this, let's support them in whatever, the need or service might be that they're providing.
I was you go back down real quick.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about that one right there.
Yeah.
That's that feather in the cap for us that somebody, a group like the White Marlin Open would look at us
goodness,
and say, hey, they're doing things right, because obviously they run a pretty successful tournament.
Yeah,
100%.
They all feel good when somebody says, hey, we want to sponsor at this level, but we'd be lying if we didn't get a little smile when that email came through.
Absolutely, but that's how you grow the cause, right? And in the end, if that can get some more money for Owen's family because somebody sees the credibility that comes with
absolutely
the White Marlin Open, that's huge. And ultimately, I mean, that's when we talked about sitting down, that's in the end, what I want for you guys and from this show is for people that are here. And it's like the whole purpose of the Interrupted Outdoors for people to start asking bigger questions about why we do what we do in the outdoors. And there's a never seemingly ending number of reasons that occurs. But this is one tangible way that you can actually take something you love, take some money, hard-earned money that you've earned, put it towards something, and know that this family is going to benefit in some pretty incredible ways, because I mean their future is just, I mean, every day they're fighting.
Yep.
So, and sponsor donation aside, sign up and you're donating. Yeah. All you have to do is fish. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is a thing where you're going to see, past recipients, past sponsors in the store. I mean, these are not just like ideas of people. These are local people that you're going to see in your everyday life.
We got to the point this year where we're really seeing hats on like
that's been cool too. Yeah,
like on Outdoors Delmarva, you'll see somebody wearing a hat, or you just walking down the street, you'll see someone wearing a hat. It took 2 or 3 years to get to that point. But it's pretty cool to just see a random Facebook post that you didn't even know
related.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know who this guy is, but apparently he fished the tournament because he's got a hat or whatever. And all of our merchandise is either on there now or will be. I'm not sure exactly. I just picked the hats up today, so she might be waiting for pictures, but that'll all be on there. And obviously you can buy that without being a fisherman as well. So
absolutely, yeah, just local pride in what you're wearing and supporting, and it's pretty cool, man. I'm really stoked about this opportunity that's kind of before this whole community right now. It's a really easy way to start to connect. So what did we miss for the tournament? Because there's people out there hearing this and are like, man, it is. Tell me the dates again.
September 24th through 26th.
Okay.
So it's a 3-day event. Fish 2 out of 3. So if you can't get off Friday, you just fish Saturday, Sunday. If you're able to get off all 3 days, you pick the best 2 days of the weather-wise. Friday night we have a cornhole tournament, and the American Legion is gracious enough to run some specials food-wise and drink specials. Just come out, listen to some music, play some cornhole. We're hoping it'd be a pretty good turnout this year. I got a cornhole guy that plays a lot of tournaments and stuff, helping us out this time.
Cool.
So
somebody got engaged at our cornhole tournament
really
last year. Yeah.
There you go.
Bringing people together.
Saturday obviously is Friday's a fishing day. Saturday's a fishing day. We have our big big party. That'll be auctions, raffles. The cornhole board is still set up, no tournament, but people are just hanging out, having fun. We do pulled pork and chicken and all the fixings to go with that. And then Sunday is a fishing day, and we wrap up on Sunday with a award ceremony. So
right on, very good. And what's right now? How many were in the tournament last year?
270 something.
Nice.
272,
Okay.
279.
So, all right. Well, let's push for over 300 this
Yeah,
year.
yep.
Let's do it, and make sure we get that in for Owen. So, man, this is really cool. Make sure you guys check out this landing page. It's really important to go there. Now, there is also an app. I saw that released through the Facebook page.
Yeah, so the app,
hit that real quick.
Yeah, the app is for registrants only. We have it restricted only just so that we don't get pictures from random people thinking they're funny.
It makes sense.
So you would
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
So you would go to register now to register, or registration, one or the other.
Okay.
And once you register, submit all your information and pay. Lindsay or Leslie or Ashley later on will send you information for the app to log in, and then it's like a temporary password, I believe, and then you can reset all that to your liking.
Very good.
And then once you're registered, you'll have access to do all that. And once fishing's open, you can submit pictures and do all that from there.
Right on, man. No, I gotta give you guys credit. This is a professional tournament that you guys have really put a lot of time into. That's evident from everything from going out and getting all these sponsorships and making sure you guys support them, to making sure the attention stays on Owen where, in my opinion, it needs to belong.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
hopefully some awesome fish are caught in the meantime. And,
Obviously, we want Owen to benefit, but we want our participants to have a good time. We really concentrate a lot on the participant experience.
Yeah.
And we try to improve every year. So I think people that come and fish will notice the difference between
what's
us
something
and-
you learned from last year that you guys implemented this year?
It's a long list.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I think it was a longer list going from year 1 to year 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Year
yeah.
2 to year 3 is not as bad. I think we realized we need to improve our capacity on the cooking. Like the
We
grills.
have outgrown the 3 home quality grills, unfortunately.
So that's a purchase we're looking to make.
There you go.
If anybody listens to this that works for a company that can build a large trailer mounted grill, that's what we're looking for. So, we're willing to discuss sponsorship there.
There you go. You need some a big metalworks company to jump in for a big griddle out there, and
It's the challenge of continuing to size it up. I mean, last year, obviously, COVID was the big thing to tackle, and we had to get the blessing from
site plans and health department.
And to my knowledge, knock on wood, we did not have a single case come from that. I mean, we had hand sanitizer, we had masks, we had fencing, we had all this crowd control stuff, and we have it ready to go this year if needed this year. So
yeah.
But yeah, just trying to size it up: food, drink, lighting, fencing, parking. It's every year.
It's kind of a guessing game.
Yeah.
You don't want to get too much and waste money, but you don't want to get not enough and then be in a bind. So I think that's probably, like Dave said, that's the biggest challenge every year, is just what we need and what we can get away or not get away with getting. So
yeah. The I guess the app too has been a big help, because the first year we tried it, because we have so many different eligible species, there wasn't really an app out there that could handle. There are apps out there, but they're usually for single species tournaments.
Okay.
And it just wasn't wasn't gonna work.
yeah, it didn't
So
work. We tried.
it was round peg square hole big time.
Hey.
So we fixed that problem in house.
Yeah.
So-
That's probably actually the biggest thing is making sure that the judging is as streamlined as it can be. The first year we were way behind. Last year we got a little behind, but got caught up just in the nick of time to end the tournament.
Yeah.
This year we're hoping to be able to provide updates or I think she said every couple hours.
Like a semi-live leaderboard, which will be on the app also,
and the website.
And the website. I stress the term semi-live.
It'll be every 2-3 hours, something like that. But that's probably one of the biggest things is making sure that we are developing this stuff to work at a speed that is sufficient to keep everybody happy.
Yeah,
So.
and you're trying to do that. That's evident. So, yeah, man, the 3rd annual Tangier Classic, September 24th to 26th. Appreciate you guys taking the time today. And where, other than the landing page, do you guys have do you have anything on Instagram or
Instagram? Yeah, it's a little less active than the Facebook. Facebook's very active.
Mhm.
Instagram is there. We basically announce sponsors there. I admittedly don't use Instagram very much. I kind of forget about that one.
Yeah.
But there's stuff on it. But the Facebook's 4 or 5 posts a day this time of year, so very active on there.
Fantastic. Well,
Yep.
we'll make sure we have everything linked up in the show notes, and I gotta give you guys an opportunity. You have a podcast yourself, man. You got to plug this thing.
Brad is a guest. Has been a guest on it a couple of times. It's me, Steve Mason, and Kyle Whaley, and it is nowhere near as professional as yours. There is
Work in progress.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's called the Eastern Shorecast, and it's 3 buddies that get together and have a few refreshments and talk about fishing. And it can get a little raucous sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. We're not striving for the G rating for sure. But the main thing was we, through fishing and through hunting, there's just so many characters, so many hilarious people, or just interesting folks to talk to. And this time of year it's tough because everybody's out fishing. But in the wintertime, we, kind of try to lean back into it. And we're relatively new. I mean, I think we've got 10 episodes, something like that. We did.
Right on.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever make a dime off of it, but that's not the point.
No, capturing the conversations, the memories, having some jokes, having some laughs. So,
yep. We did for Father's Day, we did a dad cast. So each one of us did a interview or a podcast with our fathers, but we did it separately and kind of stitched them together so you could get that kind of like intimate father-son conversation kind of thing. So that turned out pretty cool. But yeah, check it out, Eastern Shorecast. It's you'll laugh quite a bit. Other than that, I'm not sure how much value is in it.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Let me here's drop my stuff here. This will hopefully get you guys started a little bit.
Oh,
Here's
nice.
A couple shirts and hats to get put in the tournament, man.
Oh, thank you
to
very
hand
much.
out.
That's awesome.
It's the little bit that I can do for the show right now, but definitely see that some anglers get a hold of
Very
those.
cool.
And Interrupted podcast and Interrupted Outdoors shirt. There's a camo hat. I will say I'm jealous that you guys got your hats for your tournaments. I'm waiting on an order of hats, man.
So
that was yeah.
I took him up to Red Sun Apparel does our printing and stuff, and I took him up there. He's like, "Where did you find hats?" I was like, "Man, it took me like a week, but we found them online on a website, and he wanted the website. He's like, I gotta get hats somewhere, so it's hard to come by right now."
I'll tell you what, it's been something. Hopefully here, everybody's been asking me, and I'm like, it looks like September. I'm told from the vendors that some more stuff. I'm getting low on everything. So, but no, it's all good. So, any final words about the tournament?
Come fish it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to donate. You don't have to be a sponsor or anything like that. All you gotta do is fish, and it's supporting a good cause.
Right on, absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time,
and
look forward to hearing from you. Maybe we'll get an update in there after the tournament's over.
Cool,
sounds good.
Really
Thanks, man. Thanks
it.
for having us.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, guys.
All right.